application of the remediation, it is very important to have a real and software assurance for your company. It's not just a matter of detecting the vulnerabilities, but what you will do with those vulnerabilities. So this is actually the end of the part that I'm talking to you. But remember that detection vulnerabilities is just the first step. After performing the testing, you will start gathering valuable information, and that could further boost your strategy decisions in your company. So Leo Navarro, our information security business leader for Softtek, will talk more about that for us. So Leo, go ahead.
Thank you, Juan Carlos. Today I'm going to share with you 6 key considerations that we have learned from our experience on how to really enable your application security program to become an effective metrics-driven effort. As you may know, the most important goal of an application security program is basically to secure your organization's information assets and maintain the security infrastructure breach-free. Fortunately or unfortunately, a successful program is hardly a one-time project, but rather an ongoing effort that constantly provides education, guidance, and tools. I would like to say that the application security is a journey itself. It's not the destination. The only way to really understand how such a program is working is through the implementation of a very effective performance tracking system that could be supported by the right metrics. So today, we'll share 6 conditions that we have identified as essential for establishing a solid path that enables a metrics-driven application security program, and that will answer the following questions. Why is it important to understand threats and vulnerabilities? What is the benefit of having a well-defined assessment process? Why should you have a standard rating procedure? How can you identify the root causes for the application security challenge in your company? What is the real benefit from having a vulnerability tracking system? And how can you strengthen trust and credibility from your upper management? So let's get started. Let's understand what a threat and a vulnerability really is by analyzing the following example. In this specific example, the users define the specifications and requirements of the product they require. For example, for a house, they define the functionality that it could be represented as where they want to have the doors, the windows, how many rooms do they need, where the location is going to be for those specific rooms. In addition, they have to select the materials and all the specific details. At this point in time, it's vital to establish a solid distinction between the threats and vulnerabilities. Things that are a source of danger that will always be present are known as threats. So in this specific analogy, you can think about it as one would with regards to home security. Flooding, wind gusting, fire, and even robbery are threats which are beyond our control. As we build our own house, it may be the case that we introduce weaknesses by using not top quality materials or on how the functionalities were implemented during the construction, and that they may be vulnerable at some point in time. So we understand vulnerabilities as weaknesses, like poorly constructed roofs, clogged drainage, or windows and doors that are left open by a family member. And those become vulnerabilities that may put home security at risk at a specific point in time. The benefit of having visibility on the vulnerabilities to effectively understand it, they allow us to define the countermeasures required to mitigate the vulnerabilities. So, during the construction of our own house, as I said earlier, we can introduce vulnerabilities But when you have the visibility on what type of vulnerability you will face, you can then identify what will be the right countermeasure to prevent any specific failure at that point. So in this case of the example that we're exploring right now, you can enable your home with an alarm system to protect someone from coming into your house. You can waterproofing it. You can also define which are the allowed behaviors within your family members, and on those specific cases when you leave home, when you go to sleep. So to have visibility on that kind of vulnerability really allow you to choose the right countermeasure for your specific situation. Whether the application is internal or external, that means whether it's being used by the internal people of your organization or from the customers outside of your organization, there are always threats to confidentiality, integrity, and or availability of the systems and the data they handle. So as web applications continue to evolve, you may remember a couple of years back, 5, 10 years back, when we used to utilize web applications just to share information. These days, they have evolving complexity and functionality. So they need to really, really understand the threats and vulnerabilities that they may be exposed to is huge. The information that right now we store in the applications also has growth exponentially. The universe includes financial information, personally identifiable information, protected health-related information, payment card data, intellectual property information, all of which require different levels of protection against all sorts of misuse, ranging from identity theft to corporate espionage to cyber terrorism. So, having a comprehensive list of threats and vulnerabilities will really set the baseline by which your entire program will be measured against. And it should create the awareness of the possible business consequences within your organization in case that there are a specific security breach. The second consideration that we have learned is that during the implementation of your metrics program, you may be tempted to define many different metrics. And having a wide set of data points to look at during different stages of your processes. We have learned it, and we have seen with our customers that in most of the cases, looking at too much data at a time may not be the best approach. So what we recommend is we need to take a step back to define the way in which we will identify these metrics. We will to define them, we will to organize them. We need to understand what's going to be the real benefit from gathering that information. And we need to make sure that our metric set is organized, classified, focused, integrated, and of course, managed. Once that we have that organization, once that we have visibility on the possible metrics that we can generate and that is in our interest to generate, we can identify a limited number of relevant metrics to avoid any distraction. This will facilitate the opportune decision making. The main purpose is to select the metrics that qualify as key performance indicators so that we can review them in the right context and we can use them to track progress against our organizational goals. These key performance indicators should be goals-driven, easy to read, forecasting the neighbor, and should also